Smash Brothers featuring Wiley. Let's go. Check this. That's what the track's called. So this isn't I can't really say much, but this isn't really meant to be released in it. So it got leaked. It's on YouTube. So now I'm reviewing it. That's all I'll say. Ooh. That's a grimy beat. I'm excited for this one. Oz to UK shit. UK to Oz. Let's go.
The levels are too high when I'm on track. So when I step through, I ain't better on that. Definite fact, I'll never get slew. Heavyweight chat, I'll better than cruise. I'll better than braids. Can't touch what we say, never no way. Try chat shit, man, I'll bury them fakes. Smash Brothers, we bring terror on stage. One top now, never gonna flop, yeah, fracks, I'm killing them easy. Shows get shut down, heavy when I come round, fracks, I'm sicker than TV. Foes get dropped now, step into the Don sound, fracks, I'm wicked like Levy. We connect like contest men like we free.
I don't fear that, in earshot, I don't want to hear that. It's that kiddie that spray like tear gas. New smash, shoot that, wheel that. If you call it grime, why do we hear trap? Why do we...
If we call it grime, why do I hear trap? Fuck.
Tear gas, new smash, shoot that, wheel that. If you call it grime, why do we hear trap? Why do we hear trap? It's that kiddie that spray like tear gas. New smash, shoot that, wheel that. DIEM, step on TN, cold like skiing, dark like PM, shine like 3M, bright like neon, still heavy on, any BPM.
The level of barring is insane. Ready? One more time.
Skiing, dark like PM, shine like 3M, bright like neon, still heavy on, any BPM. If you call it grime, why do we hear trap? If you call it grime, why do we hear trap? It's that kiddie that spray like tear gas, new smash, shoot that, wheel that.
Yeah, every man in my team is a beast. Any MC disagrees, speak your piece. Send for the heat with the flow too laugh. I don't need no drama, you'll be up shit's creek. No paddle, the outlooks bleak. Can't battle, hush up your beak. Chat about bars so much that I'm starting to think that half of these artists are cheese. Monkey see that, monkey do. Copycats all out on the loose, must be barking mad out chasing the goose. Gone batshit crazy, gas by the truth. Man, I let loose, there's a fox in the coop. Have another kill streak locked in the groove. Lash up a tune like a hard is you, man.
I have another kill streak locked in the groove.
I let loose, there's a fox in the coop. Have another kill streak locked in the groove. Lash up a tune like a hard is you, man. Smash on the track, man, I'm body any groove.
Check this, if it ain't
Wiley.
then I don't wanna know what's happening. Yo, check this, if it ain't culture, I don't wanna know what's happening. Yo, check this, all I wanna do is Merk and keep it stacking. Yo, check this, if it ain't work, then I don't wanna know what's happening. Yo, won't lie to you, I be the master. When I chat back teams, I be the bosser. Strap my lyrics with a Parker. Got a couple flows of slow, but I'm a faster. Take your head off like a halfer. After this pain, if a man's a skylarker. They don't want it when we get darker. It's the next thing, no smiling or laughter.
I'm a little bit disappointed by Wiley's one. I'm a little bit disappointed by Wiley's verse. 1 minute. Let me listen. I'm going to wheel the whole thing back. Well, let me listen to it one more time.
Check this, it's in the groove. Lash up a tune like a hard is you, man. Smash on the track, man. Our body any groove.
Check this, if it ain't work, then I don't wanna know what's happening. Yo, check this, if it ain't culture, I don't wanna know what's happening. Yo, check this, all I wanna do is Merk and keep it stacking. Yo, check this, if it ain't work, then I don't wanna know what's happening.
Okay, so I'm not even mad at that. That first 8, I'm not mad at. But that's him warming in. And so where he warms in, I now expect him to spaz the fuck out for 8. But
yo, won't lie to you, I be the master. When I chat back teams, I be the bosser. Strap my lyrics with a Parker. Got a couple flows of slow, but I'm a faster. Take your head off like a halfer. After this pain, if a man's a skylarker. They don't want it when we get darker. It's the next thing, no smiling or laughter.
it's not a bad verse in any way, shape or form.
It's the next thing, no smiling or laughter.
It's not bad in any way, shape or form, but it's not, I don't know. I can't lie. I'm a little bit disappointed by Wiley's verse. And let me make it clear, I'm not hating on Wiley in any way, shape or form. Wiley's a fucking OG of the UK scene. And it wasn't even like it was a bad verse. Like, it wasn't. But maybe I just built up more expectation in my own head. I would like to say he's not sleeping on the Oz scene. And he's not, you know, underestimating, you know. I hope he isn't, what is it, undermining, you know, any of the Smash Boys. You know, I hope that it's just me. I hope that it's just my opinion that he just didn't go in. I hope that when you, man, go down in the comment section, you're like, fuck you, Wiley had one of the harder verses. But I'll be real, Dime and RaptorHandz ruined him. Even Fracture, to a certain extent, I think could have come harder. But I also feel like Fracture set the tone for this track as well. Like, let me make it very, very clear. Shout out to absolutely all 4 of them on this track. But I felt like just RaptorHandz and Dime were just more hungry than Frax and Wiley. Or maybe it's just my first time impressions of the track. Maybe if I listen back to it more, I'll change that. But just at first, I feel like there was kind of a big difference between Dime and Scotty to Frax and Wiley. And especially Wiley, you know. Even Frax, I'd still say had a better verse than Wiley. And I hate to compare. At the end of the day, just enjoy it for what it is. But I feel like it's too much of a difference in my head to kind of ignore. So let's just talk about it as a collective now. As a whole, yeah, they barred the fuck out on this track. Clean flows and a very original grime sound, which I think is very, very important because we're talking about OGs of their respective scenes, you know? And, you know, you could argue a pretty hard case of if it wasn't for people like Wiley, well, if it wasn't for Wiley, you wouldn't have Smash Brothers, you know? You wouldn't have that influence, or you wouldn't have a huge integral part of grime. And when all of the English boys brought it over to Australia, it wouldn't be the same. And so you have to respect it massively in terms of that. You have to respect massively that, you know, these guys have been about for years doing their thing. Years doing their thing. Shaping and molding a whole fucking scene. And I think it's sick to see OGs of both scenes coming together and really just doing their thing. I mean, it was 16 bars each, so it's not like they had 64. I feel like if they had 64 each, they'd have more room to work with and really flex and show what they're really about. But in terms of a 16 bar back-to-back, they most likely written it at the time in terms of they've all met up in the studio. And I feel like if they come with a preemptive pen and, you know, planned it out and whatnot, I think you'd have a whole different verse from each of them. But maybe that's not their process. Maybe they have more of an old school process of writing in studio, you know. I do feel like nowadays newer artists, including people like myself, I don't write in studio. I write and practice and perfect it and then go studio. I ain't got enough money to be spending on studio time like that. Whereas the boys obviously have the facilities and the access to it, so, you know, maybe where they spend more time. Obviously, it has a whole different feel when you produce and write everything in the studio at the time, as opposed to, you know, taking your time and going about it in a different way. And what I will say is, however their process worked in making this track, it has a very original grime feel, and I'm glad that it did turn out that way. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Feel free to follow me on socials and keep me updated with all new music that's coming out. My track with Greesy is out right now. Links are down in the description below. And yeah, appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you, man, later.